Hi everyone, today I'm going to tell you about my birth story. You're going to hear my baby's bassinet rocking in the background. I woke up at 39 weeks pregnant. I'd been having menstrual crampy feelings for like 3 weeks off and on, and I also had that with my first baby, but that was only for like 5 days leading up to the birth. And so as soon as I started having them this time, I thought, well, maybe this birth is going to happen quicker than I thought it was going to. But 3 weeks passed and nothing had happened, and they'd kind of petered off actually. Anyways, I had no idea when it was gonna happen. I did, the day before he was born, I did feel his head engage, that he was finally sitting really low in my pelvis, but I had felt that at about 36 weeks and then it went away. And so the day before the birth, I went for a long walk, with like a 45-minute walk, and I tried to take really wide swings with my legs because I had heard about that from spinning babies. I felt his head down there, and it seemed like the more wide I walked my legs, the lower he got. But that also went away after like getting home, basically. And so anyway, suffice it to say, I woke up in the middle of the night at 2:30 and I had to pee, and I thought, that's funny because I haven't had to pee yet during the middle of the night this pregnancy. So that's nice that it hasn't happened yet. Anyway, so I peed, I came back to the bed, I noticed that I was having menstrual crampy feelings, and I turned on my Hypnobabies track because I always listened to it if I woke up during the night. I always used it to put myself to sleep just so I could get more time listening to it in. And then I noticed that on top of the menstrual crampy feeling, there was pressure waves, there was intensity. At the time I didn't know that it was pressure waves, I just noticed that there was intensity coming in waves. That was rhythmic, it was not constant. And I was like, oh, what is happening? Is this really happening? They were like 5 and 7 minutes apart, and I knew that I'd had like 5 of them already, so I knew that it had been going on for like half hour at the same intensity, and I knew that it was gonna go really fast. And so I told my husband that we had to go to the hospital, and unfortunately it took us a little while to get out the door. Probably not that long, probably the same as it takes anybody, but I was hoping that my hospital bag was all packed, and it wasn't. I was like rushing around. My brother-in-law was actually staying with us for Christmas break, and so he could actually watch the 2-year-old, and so we were able to leave immediately. We didn't have to wait for my mother-in-law to get here, so that was super nice. We went to the hospital. It took us a long time to check in. I was feeling really impatient. My husband was too. I was doing Hypnobabies, and I'm gonna make a separate review of that, but I was very calm at this point. We were kind of thinking that maybe like the hospital staff weren't acting as urgent as we felt inside because I was acting so calm on the outside. Anyways, we finally got to triage. I was feeling super uncomfortable at this point. The pressure waves I was able to handle really well because of the Hypnobabies, but I felt super nauseated and I felt like I had to poop, and I was like, does that mean I have to push a baby out? I have no idea, probably not. I don't want to get my hopes up, but they do feel exactly the same. I was like, I have to poop, and they were like, we have to finish whatever they were doing, and so they finally finished, and I was able to get up and go to the bathroom, and I got in the toilet, and I finally felt so comfortable. Like all of the nausea went away and all of the discomfort, and I peed a little bit, and I got back up and went back to the table. I was really surprised that I was able to manage getting to the toilet and getting back without too much intensity from the pressure waves, because you're supposed to collapse completely, let go of all your muscles when you have a pressure wave with Hypnobabies. I think I had one on the toilet and like one quick one on the way back, which was good because I didn't have anything to collapse onto. Also, as a side note, I wasn't wearing underwear at that point. My robe was open when I went to the bathroom, and the lady was like, does your robe close or something like that? And I was just so far off in a different world that I was like, I have 200 things to worry about before I worry about whether people see me naked. Also, I'm giving birth, so people shouldn't care. Or anyway, that was just a funny moment. But we got back to the table and they finally finished up the triage. I was super uncomfortable still, felt like I needed to vomit. They finished, we moved to the delivery room, and I was so relieved. I said I had to pee, and I went to the bathroom, and again, I felt so comfortable once I got on the toilet, but I got back up and I went and knelt by the bed. I was like, I am just gonna push. In my head, I didn't tell anyone because I was worried that if I told somebody, they'd tell me not to, or to wait, and I just wanted to get that baby out, and I felt like it might come out if I tried to. So anyway, I pushed and my water broke. Apparently around that time I was like making pushy noises, probably like grunting noises, and somebody said, let's get you back on the bed, because I was kneeling at the side of the bed. The midwife said, no, 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 leave her where she is. My doula told me about that afterwards. I had no idea that happened, and I'm glad that I didn't, because that would have been super annoying. And I was like checked out in my Hypnobabies land, so that was good. Anyway, so I kept pushing. At this point, I was wondering if everybody was on the same page as I was. Or I was surprised that everybody felt like they were on the same page as me, because again, I didn't hear anybody talking about me pushing. Apparently they were talking about it more than I thought. Okay, that's my baby. Anyway, so everybody seemed pretty, or I could feel somebody's hand was like right under my vagina, and I could sense that there were like people around. I don't know, that doesn't really mean anything. But anyway, I kept pushing. I pushed really hard, and I felt a lot of intensity. I was so excited to feel what it felt like to push without an epidural. I just felt like a goddess and a mammal, which actually doesn't sound that good, but it did. Even though it was very intense, like his head being there, I was just so excited and empowered that it just felt very cool in its intensity. They were like, his head is out, you need to keep pushing. And I thought that his head had come out almost all the way and then had gone back in. So I thought they were saying that just the top of his head was showing. I could not do that again yet. It was so intense and difficult. And just intense is the only word to describe it. They kept yelling louder and louder and louder, his head is out, you have to push! And anyway, he came out, and at that moment I realized that his whole head had been out, and I just had to push the rest of his squishy body out. And so that was strange. And as I was trying to push his head out, when they were yelling at me, I was like bracing my ab muscles and pushing and trying to push, and it wasn't working, and I felt like my ab muscles had disappeared, and like I couldn't feel anything down there. And what my husband realized, and I realized later, was that it's like when you have to poop a big hard poop, you use different muscles than when you squish out a little poop that's like up in your colon. You use different muscles, and so I was using the wrong muscles to push his body out, and so it took a while, and it was just a weird experience. It could have been fixed if I had a birth worker who was like a mind reader. Anyway, I don't know how to fix that. I couldn't have even seen a mirror, because unless it was like a double mirror, because I was on hands and knees. Maybe if I'd been like feeling down there, then I would have known what was going on, so that would have been cool, I guess. Anyway, they handed him to me. I was like, wow, this is a baby. He came. I was mostly just super relieved that it was over, because it was so intense. Eat, 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 buddy. Come on. So yeah, I woke up at 2:30 and he was born at 5. So it was 2.5 hours. I might have woken up at 2 actually, but we got to the hospital at 3:30 for sure. So the hospital, we were there for an hour and a half. And honestly, it was just like getting through check-in, going through triage, and then I went and peed, and then went to the side of the bed and pushed, and he came out. Thanks for watching. Bye. Are you gonna eat, buddy?